Hello. I hope you guys are well today. Oh man, it has been a morning already. Well, it's afternoon. Still feels like morning. I'm so tired. So, how are you guys? Let's see who's here. Margie, Pedmar, Skinner Farms, Scully, and Mia. Hi guys, I hope you're well today. Hey, my Alabama farm life. How's things? Tell me how your week has gone. I would love to know. It's been, I don't know. I don't even, off the top of my head, I have to look at my planner to remember what the heck I did. Hey, Thorhaven. How is your swarm of bees doing? Living a rogue life. Hi. Hope you're well. It's raining again. It would be nice if it would rain here. It would be very helpful. But no rain for us. Just fires, I learned some interesting information about fires because, right now here in Oregon, we have a fire called the Bootleg Fire, and it's apparently the largest in the nation at the moment. It's at, when I looked the other day, it was at 212,000 plus acres. And I was just like, wow, it's really huge. I wonder, what the biggest fires have been in the U.S., recorded history in the U.S. And come to find out, oh, dude, I can't remember the name of it. But there was one fire that had 2.5 million acres burned. And Michigan? I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. But I was like, wow. And then Oregon also has, was in second and third for the largest fires ever. Oregon had a fire of 1.5 million acres and 1 million acres, not very far from each other, in terms of years. And so I just thought that was interesting, and I wanted to share that I guess Oregon always has been, a place for fires. But those other fires were in the 1800s. So it was they obviously couldn't do a whole lot about it. So I see some new people came in. It's pouring at Mia's place. Hey, Frugal Farmer. I'm hungry. What's new? Hi, Bridget. Boop, 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 boop. And Doug. Hi, Doug. You had another swarm today at lunchtime, Bridget? From your hives. Oh. Did you look up checkerboarding? Because maybe that will help. Wow. Hi, Reese's for me one. Tell me who you be. But you saw that announcement on Facebook. Well, I'm glad you could stop by. Mia's sweeping. It's crazy about the fires. I know. And I was just like, wow. I guess Canada had a bigger fire, 3.5 million acres. I think that was in also the 1800s. But I thought it was just really, really interesting. So, what else? I don't know. Mia sweeping. Erica Lapine, Erica? Just making sure. So, I finally got to check the bees yesterday. If you didn't see my community post this morning. Oh, wait. Bridget, said she called the beekeeper, told her to look for a queen cell and destroy them. If they were trying to build a new queen that they didn't like the current one, then they wouldn't swarm. They would just supersede her. So they're trying to swarm, which is different. So the problem with destroying all the queen cells, one, she either hatched already or is about to hatch, this new queen, and you already had the swarm. I don't know if you caught it or whatever, but brain fart. Oh, golly. Ow. But they have already swarmed, so they already want to. So there's basically already a new queen in the old hive. So going in there and destroying what's there may not be the best idea. Huh. Your bees are weird, Bridget. Indiana Backyard Gardener, long time. I hope you are well. See ya, Mia. Skinner Farms had 11 inches of rain here 3 weeks ago and what? Wow. Or you're in Texas, right? Almost everybody is, really, but it's rained almost every day since. You have hay? Oh, no, that's awful, because how many cuttings would you usually get? We've had our first cutting, well, not me specifically, but where I buy the hay from down Indiana. Sorry. Of course, Indiana. So we've had our first cutting here, and I think second cutting is usually in August. I don't know. But apparently with the drought, they're cutting off irrigation early, like months early. And people are thinking we're not going to get a third cutting this year in the area. And they're telling people to buy up all of the hay you need for a year, which is kind of crazy, which I think I did. I might buy extra just in case, but it's expensive. Oh, you saw my community post? I'll get to it someday. I'll get to talking about it more. Don't they swarm when they expand? So part stay with the old queen and part go. Actually, the old queen is the one who leaves, and they swarm because they are feeling good about the population, which technically is an overcrowding issue because they are making more bees than room. But yeah, so they swarm. That's how they propagate, basically. But you don't really want your bees to leave very much. In Houston, it's rained every day between 3 and 5 for the past 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, I've heard. Well, I've heard in a lot of places in Texas. You got 5 pints of honey from 2 frames, deep frames. That makes sense. There's about, deep frames, I believe there's about 8 pounds, 8 to 10 pounds of honey on a deep frame. And 1 pint is about 1.5 pounds. So that's great. The swarm from last weekend was pretty impressive. If I haven't yet. Hey, Margie. Plenty of room, but not much new larvae. I don't know, I would consider checkerboarding the frame. So like a drawn out frame and an empty frame and a drawn out frame and an empty frame, because for some reason they're thinking they don't have enough space. I'm glad you could stop in, Margie. Swarmstead is squeeing at me. Holy squeeze. Oh, well, I don't know then, Bridget. That's crazy. No idea. Your bees are being weird. Okay, so I finally checked on the bees yesterday, since before the heat wave. And I didn't check on them during the heat wave just because it felt wrong. Like, I felt like they hopefully knew what they were doing, and I didn't want to interrupt that because I know what they do is they keep the hive at about 95 degrees, and with it being outside over 95 degrees, they have to work really hard on cooling the hive. So they go get some water, they bring it in to the hive, they set a little droplet of water, and they fan it. So it's like a swamp cooler. See you living a rogue life. And so they work really hard, and I didn't want to like interrupt that. So it may have been the wrong thing, may not have been, I don't know. So finally checked on them yesterday, and everyone is still alive. I was for sure that honeysuckle was going to be dead because if you don't remember from one of the videos, that queen that was in there was laying drones only. And I'm surprised because, like, I'm thoroughly surprised, actually. But it was exciting to go in there expecting to, so what I was going to do, I was going to pull out the old queen, and I was going to just, like, put her in a jar and, like, put her in some alcohol to keep her. I don't know, because it felt like I wanted to do that. And then I was going to shake everyone else out of the colony because it was small and not really worth the trouble. And so I go in there and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, there's bees in here still. And then I'm looking at the frames and I see eggs. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like eggs nicely placed. Okay, so is the old queen in there still laying drones? But there wasn't hardly any like drone brood left. And so I was really excited. So then I saw the queen and I was like, yeah. So now I'm going to feed them like crazy, and hopefully they'll, make a population big enough to survive the winter. We'll see. I don't know. I just thought that was like super cool. It's like the queen was relatively new because there was only like a little bit of patches of eggs, and then it's a possibility that there was 2 queens made because I found 2 queen cells and they both were open. So it's possible that one of those queens actually swarmed with part of the population, because this new queen only has like a frame and a half or so of bees to help her. So I'm just feeding. I don't have like a lot of super hope for it. I don't know. I might bring some resources from another colony over. Maybe. We'll see. But I don't have my hopes super high for that. And then I wanted to update you on goldenrod, which is the colony that I made with my last bee video, which was a while ago. Sorry, but they are looking so good, you guys. They are excellent. They're like really populated. Like, no one had stores of honey, and that's because of the drought. There's no flowers blooming, and that's unfortunate. I just have to feed everybody. That's just like the story right now. But the population in honeysuckle was glorious, and was really exciting to see that it was like doing so well. I decided that they looked really packed, so I did give them another box to expand in, like, just because I really don't want them to swarm at this point in time, and it won't hurt to give them a box. So I'm just really excited that they're doing so well, and that's great. Oh, Maybe the heat put them into survival mode, wanting to reproduce. I don't know, maybe. Hi, Sue. So this morning, last night I made my sugar syrup, and it was an eventful morning. I made my sugar syrup last night. I made 12 quarts. I usually just use quart jars because they're like easy for me to handle. I pour like a pint of sugar in and then a pint of hot water, and I shake it up, and that works great for me. However, so I go out this morning. I get out there later than I want because I accidentally stayed up until like 2:30 in the morning last night. I don't know. I did the sugar syrup stuff, and then like I organized something, and then it was 2:30 in the morning. I don't know. But so I'm out there. I'm in Rose Colony. I had to take out 2 frames to put in the feeder, and I decided I didn't want to use the smoker today because I used it yesterday. It was kind of stressful because it's so dry here. And so on Swarmstead's suggestion yesterday was to use just a water spritz. And I tried that out, and it wasn't the worst, but like I still was feeling a little bit uncomfortable with them. But they didn't like go crazy. My no sting record is still going strong, which is great. And I fed them. So then I put the quarts of sugar syrup in a tote so I could easily carry it in my cart and move it and all that. So I set the tote back up on my cart, and I was like, oh, they'll be fine. And then I turned my cart and everything fell over. I broke 2 quarts of sugar syrup, 2 jars, and like only a little bit was on the ground. But I'm looking at the tote right now because there's basically 2 quarts of sugar syrup in the bottom of the tote that I have to figure out how to clean without attracting, the whole 5-mile radius of bees, because there's no forage, so they're going to be like highly attracted to it. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so stressed out. And so I haven't been able to use my water bottles because I had my water bottles in the tote just because like I was carrying stuff that way. And everything in there is covered in sugar syrup. So I did 1 colony, and I was like, I still have to feed everyone else. I still have some sugar syrup. And so I go over and I feed Goldenrod. But since I lost 2 quarts, I could only give 3 quarts to the other colonies instead of 4. And I'm like opening the jars, and I'm poking myself because there's glass everywhere in the tote, like little shards. So it's just really frustrating. And but I got them fed 3 quarts, and then I fed Honeysuckle. All right, see ya his way. Bye, Doug. Glad you could stop in. Tell Shelly I said hello. Let's see. I don't need to feed Clover. So earlier in the year, I gave Clover a full super of crystallized honey frames. They're still in there, and so they haven't like eaten it all yet. And so I decided I would just, great, good, Shelly. Hey, Tim. Who are you booming? Boom, boom, boom. So anyway, I don't have to feed Clover. And I did find, actually, was it Clover? They actually had some nectar. Only like 1 frame, though. So that you get to see me live. Woohoo! I know, I keep wanting to stop in your lives, but I'm usually like in the middle of dinner or something. But so they have, I was going to say that one of the noxious weeds started blooming this week. So there's maybe where people are getting some. Nightbot is not pleased with Doug right now. Bye, Bridget. The noxious weed being knapweed. Hey, Patty. And I'm kind of just letting mine bloom since the bees don't have anything else. And something is blooming. Oh, something interesting is that the rabbit brush, which is a really important fall plant for pollinators of all sorts, some of it is starting to bloom months early, which I think is just crazy. So I don't know. This year is insane. I don't even know, like, this year is just totally crazy. Having, 112, 115 degree weather, and then, like, our last frost was only like 2 weeks before it was over 100 degrees. And so, like, I didn't get everything planted, and I still have some plants that I need to plant. And, when it's like 100 something degrees and you're not used to it, you don't work out there because people actually die of, like, heat stroke. And so it's like I still have to build my other raised bed. But yeah, so it's been, like, weird because you, like, go and try to do stuff in the morning, and then, I don't know, by 10 o'clock it was like 100 degrees, and we'd come inside and do nothing until 7, 8 p.m. It's just been really weird. But the baby geese are doing really well. They're huge. Like, I usually keep chicks and stuff and baby geese or whatever for inside for about 6 weeks until they get their grown-up feathers. And when I had my other geese, when they were little, they did not grow this fast. These guys are, like, basically outgrown their tote, and they're, like, I think 4 weeks old, and they're just starting to get their big kid feathers. So that's exciting, but we're going to have to, and if you don't know, geese poop a lot, and it's really stinky, and it's pretty awful. So we're going to start putting them outside for the day in the duck pen, in their own pen. So if they're separate but together, because the little geese are kind of weenies. They, like, run away from the ducks and everything, which is good, because I saw Donnie the drake looking at them, like he kind of wanted to beat them up, but they're almost the same size as him. Anyway, they're huge. They're that breed African geese, and the grown-up boy, the mature boy, is supposed to be like 22 pounds. And I'm like, golly, it's going to be awesome, but they're just outgrowing it. Oh, so they would go outside during the day, and we would bring them back in at night because it gets to like 50 degrees here at night. That's a little too cold for downy babies. And I don't know where the quail hatched last time we talked. I think some hatched, and I was telling you how I helped some. Unfortunately, we had 3 pass away, which is probably the ones that I helped, and so we have 4 left of the baby quail, and they're doing fine. It was so sad that they, I don't know what happened necessarily. So you do what you can. We're going to have to do another hatch of them. I really want to put them underneath the bantam chickens again for hatching, because it's like a lot less work on my part, really. And not worrying about the temperature of the incubator. And that was kind of rough because the incubator had a really hard time keeping temperature, especially when it was like 112 degrees outside. I saw at one time that the incubator got to like 105, 106. And I was like, oh, I probably killed some. And so I think generally pretty lucky to get what we got. And we're just going to have to hatch some more. Is what it is. I don't know. We don't necessarily need a whole lot. We don't really do much with them. We eat the eggs and then we watch them and listen to them because, they make cool sounds and they're pretty. But I think I'd like to get the Coturnix quail still. So we still have to build a pen for it. And I keep talking about that. And it just hasn't ever happened. Let's see. I wrote down. Oh, I wanted to talk about why this is my favorite time of the year. And I don't know. Like, a lot of people don't like summer because it's so hot, but I like summer because everything's blooming. There's flowers, the garden is growing, and this is kind of weird for someone to say, but all the cool insects come out, and that's really exciting to me. I love bugs. Like, I don't really love them touching me or anything, but I think bugs are super rad. And right now, the leaf cutter bees are out. So if you see like perfect circles almost in your plant leaves, that's from the leaf cutters. And don't freak out because they're amazing. They're so cool. They're my favorite, and they're fluffy. And if you saw the thumbnail for the live, on my thumbnail, that was a leaf cutter bee that I was sitting on a milkweed leaf, and I was just like super stoked that I got a picture of him. I love taking pictures of insects too, just because they're so interesting. The whole world, the insects make the whole world go round. Their little hands. No, just kidding. I think they're cool. My favorite one is called the ambush bug, and it's kind of a relative of the assassin bug, but cooler. And they're my favorite. Let's see. And other native bees are out, and it's so exciting to see. My favorite thing about growing flowers is seeing the native bees on the flowers that I grew. Now, everything I have this year is super behind, but things are starting to bloom. I didn't think my black-eyed Susans were going to come back, and they didn't come back in the same place, but a plant started about 3 feet away from the original place I planted them last year, and I was like, whatever. And so I'm excited to see how big that gets because it's actually in the ground. Like, it took me a long time to plant them last year, and they were like just going haywire in like one of those half-gallon pots. And I'm excited for that. I love flowers a lot, and it's mostly just for the bees, really. And they're pretty, and there's so many. Sue thinks bugs are cool. Indiana Backyard Gardener had an assassin bug in the garden last week. Nice. I got some pretty cool pictures of an assassin bug eating another bug the other year. Oh, speaking of photo, I was on Facebook, and I'm in a lot of the beekeeping groups in Oregon on Facebook, and just because like it's interesting to see like other locations in Oregon and how they take care of their bees. But I see this event pop up, and I'm like, that picture looks familiar. And I'm like, hey, that's my photo that I took like a couple years ago. And I was like, excuse me, that's my photo. And the guy's like, oh, it's really good. I like to just go and collect photos to use. I'm like, you're literally not supposed to do that. Okay, Margie, have a great weekend. I'm like, you're literally not supposed to do that. That's like a whole copyright thing. You should not use other people's photos. Just just because you collected them from the internet. It's not how the world works. And he's like, well, do you want me to give you credit? Or I was like, no, I want you to take it down because you didn't ask. And if he would have asked, I would have said, oh, sure, here, let me get you a photo that has my watermark on it. Simples. But I just like, you're not supposed to do that. So by the way, you're not supposed to do that. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating for the photographer or for the artist or whatever. I think I told you last week why I'm having trouble in my new raised bed. I accidentally used some fresh donkey poo, and it's made it too hot. Like literally, like physically too hot, like 105 degrees in the dirt, too hot for plants. I think it's starting to cool down. I did get finally a soil thermometer, and so I just need to take the time, make sure the soil thermometer is correct, but take the time to go measure. What would be a surprise? Sorry. Go measure and see. Because I still have plants to plant. I'm not expecting much from the garden this year, and that's a little bit disappointing because like I worked so hard, and we just like never had a great time to plant. So we'll see. I don't know. You have milkweed bugs on your hollyhock flowers? Interesting. Why? Okay, back. I forgot to tell you that my internet's really bad today. So just stick if it goes on and off. I do apologize for that. I'm so pleased. I'm pleased. Oh, the picture that someone else was using. Yeah, I was like a little bit displeased. Yeah, it has been a challenging year. It's been a little bit ridiculous. There is currently, did it start last week? Yeah, I think so. I don't remember for sure. There's currently a fire near me, about 20 miles. I think it's a bit contained now, but they're calling it the Grand View Fire, and it got up to like 6,000 acres or something, and it's about 20 miles from me. I don't know if I said that. You have milkweed that has been established here for years, and they showed up. The milkweed bug showed up 3 years, or the milkweed showed up? I have some milkweed too. And it was really sad. I was looking at it because, like all kinds of insects. Okay, Indiana. All kinds of insects like the milkweed nectar or whatever is provided by the milkweed. And I was looking all close, and there was a teeny tiny bee with its proboscis stuck in the milkweed flower. And this bee was so tiny that you're like, I can't help you really. Like I wanted to like pull it out or whatever, but what if that tore off its tongue? Or what if I pulled like a wing off or something? That would have been awful. That would have been worse than it dying naturally. So what the cool thing about milkweed is that what are those butterflies? Monarch butterflies. That's the only thing the caterpillars really like to eat that's really healthy for them. And it's used to being pollinated by butterflies, and that's fine. for larger butterflies. So that the milkweed has these little pollen sacs, kind of, and they're in. And when the butterfly touches that area, like the pollen sac comes out with the butterfly foot, like it's sticky. And when the bug is not big enough to handle that, they get stuck on the flower and die, which is sad, but also kind of like interestingly cool, Hello, Jason. I hope you're well. Yeah, the Grandview fire definitely was scary for some folks out here. I know some people in Crooked River Ranch, and it was about 4 miles from there, but on the other side of the canyon. And I offered the people that I knew, I have 9 acres that's not being used. Milkweed you planted. I actually had a milkweed beetle last year. And I was like, oh, it was red, I think. I can't remember. Yeah. They lay their eggs, and then the eggs make it, to a caterpillar, and then the caterpillars eat the milkweed. MT Homestead, you got the test tube propagation tubes? Right on. Okay, well, I'm glad you could stop in for a minute. Talked about bee stuff mostly in the beginning. Just FYI, if you wanted to rewatch it. Yeah, I just think that the monarchs might like a larger patch maybe than what we can provide in our home yards. Thankfully, the local nature people, they planted some milkweed near the, Rimrock Springs. There's like water over there. And so that should be interesting. I wonder if it helps them. But there's been some monarch sightings, but I think not very much. I'm having some earwig issues. I finally got my Sluggo Plus. I keep forgetting to actually use it, which is, why is this thing sitting on my desk that was $25 that I haven't used? I'm going to try to use it tonight. I keep saying that. But it's organic, OMRI listed, and it's supposed to be pretty specific, and hopefully it'll do something. For earwigs, that's gross. Earwigs are the worst. Oh, it's been hard. So I did make a video of my inspections yesterday. I'm so behind on editing videos that I might have to try to edit newer videos to put up, and then post the older videos as I get to them. I don't know. But, and I'm trying to decide with this drought, and ultimately the bees not really having a lot of resources here in the grasslands, is it responsible for me to have bees here? Am I being a good steward of my bees by being here and knowing that they're not really finding a lot? What are they doing all day? Flying around aimlessly looking for something that's not there? It kind of makes me sad, to be honest. But I wouldn't be good at going elsewhere physically to take care of them. So I feel like I would have to get rid of them altogether. This is just thoughts that have been bouncing around in my head because I want to be responsible, and I want to be a good steward to the land and to my animals. But it's just been bouncing around in my head, and I like beekeeping, so I want to keep up with it. But I'm like, there's some things that I want to do. I'm really excited. Like, I have some experiments that I want to do. And I don't know if I should do them because the one experiment that I would like to do requires 2 new colonies. And I don't know. I just don't know if it's a smart thing to do or not. But I could always feed them, I guess. But it'd be pointless for the whole experiment. Just something to think about. Though, 20 miles away or 15 miles away in town, people are having no issue with their bees. Like, someone was like, oh, I just pulled 50 pounds of honey. And I was like, good for you. I wish. I haven't gotten honey since 2019. So that's cool. But, yeah, it's just been a little rough for the bees. I had other stuff written down. Now I don't remember. Oh, I guess not much else. Do you guys have any questions? I think we're going to go out to dinner tonight. Haven't decided where. I'm pretty tired. But I also don't want to cook. So we'll see. I've been thinking about... So my brain just goes everywhere, okay? I've been thinking about starting or trying to do cut flowers. I would need to build some more raised beds, but I think with flowers, I could probably do the cinder block beds just fine. Chilies, nice. It was so funny when we were stationed in South Korea, everybody wanted to go to Osan. Osan, right? Yeah, Osan. Yeah, to go to Chili's all the time. For every birthday, we went to Chili's. So I'm like, I could take or leave Chili's now, but only because we went there like a couple times a month for like 6 months in a row for soldiers' birthdays and stuff. It was kind of funny. But so cut flowers. I bought some books. Like $50 worth of books, which is only 3 books, which is kind of a lot, but whatever. I could rent them from the library, but I just don't go out to the library. So I wanted to own them. Endless chips and salsa. Chips and salsa is always nice. So I got the books. And I'm excited to look into them because I got one that's called Cool Flowers. So it's supposed to hopefully tell me what kind of flowers are cool weather flowers. And I'm not sure what their definition of cool is. Like, is it my temperature cool here in Central Oregon, like zone 5 cool? Or is it like, the whole like mid-range between summer and spring that we don't have? And I just don't know. I think my friend and I are going to go. There's a couple of cut flower gardens like you cut in the area. I think my friend and I are going to try to go to see what they're growing, research, and maybe buy some flowers. But I think I could do the cinder block beds for them. And I kind of drew out some ideas. And so now I'm kind of like in the time where like, what will I grow? So at this point, I would just do it to see if I could and like maybe sell flower bouquets to like friends. Sell to friends or on Facebook. Someone recommended selling on Facebook Marketplace. Someone does a really good, they get good sales there. I don't know how well I'll do with it because people tend not to want to drive out to me because I'm basically 20 minutes, 30 minutes from towns. And so people don't generally. But if I did like a pickup for the area, I think that would be better than like a delivery. I don't know. We'll see. It's just that I really like flowers. And I feel like that's something I would enjoy doing, because my mom was a florist when I was young. And she really liked it, but she was allergic to roses. And the actual, like, because she would get like pricked by what are those? Thorns. And like her whole fingers would just dry up and become cracked and everything. And she couldn't stand that. She was in it for a couple of years, but I, learned a lot while she was doing that, because she like did some schooling and kind of had like a mentor and everything. And arranging flowers is good fun. Good wholesome fun. Yeah. High Desert Cut Flower Garden. Yeah, for sure. So I got the Cool Flowers book, and then the Flower Farmer, and then Flowers Love Vegetables, or Vegetables Love Flowers, or something like that. Just because I thought it would be interesting, and I have no self-control. So, I mean, we're lucky that's all I got, to be honest. Dan's lucky. What else? Holy. I should do a garden tour. That would be a good video to put up. That would be relatively easy to edit. But it all looks so sad right now. I might wait till like something else is blooming. Like there's like 2 things blooming right now. Like literally 2 plants. and it's just kind of sad. I did have a rabbit. Pretty sure a rabbit. Like top one of my tomatoes plants, and then it topped a Cosmo, and I'm just like, dudes. And Dan's like, well, I could take care of them. I'm like, no. I like watching them grow up. There's a new round of babies, and right now they're about yay big, little. You took a class at the community college on the cutting garden for gardeners. Ooh, when did you do that? Was that at Mount Hood? Mount Hood is such a great college. I went there. It was a good time. But yeah, I think that would be fun to do, more flowers on purpose. And then making beds out of cinder block is really easy. And like I can do it on my own. I can do anything on my own, really. It's just a lot of work that I don't want to do. I did get my mint planted underneath my fruit trees. I don't know if I told you guys that. And mint is a great filler for cut flower, bouquets. We'll see. I don't know. I just think it'll be fun. I don't know. I did get my first tomato from the garden, and I didn't really like it. I don't know if it's because it was like working on being ripe during that heat wave, but it wasn't very good. I can't remember what it was called. It was one that I was like, oh, that might be good, that I bought at Wilco or something. And I don't know. Oh, no. Sorry. Oh, Clackamas Community College. I didn't even know if they had a horticulture program when I went there. I was there in 2007 to 2009. Oh, that's cool. Maybe I can find the class. It'll be fun. I don't know. But my friend and I are going to try to go to those cut flower gardens and see what there is to see. And next week, we're having our first in-person bee club meeting since the pandemic started. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. I'll be talking about how I make splits to make queens. or to make a queen. How I have my bees make queens for me. I guess we're going to be talking about that during the meeting. And someone else is going to talk about, there'll be like 3 or 4 people talking about how they make queens, queen bees, that is. Hey, James. I was totally going to come to your live today, and like I looked down and it was like, okay, I'm in the middle of one thing and he's live and I'll hop on in a sec. And I just completely went away. The ADHD medication is not working, not helping at all. So, you know what it is doing to me? Making me sweat like a puddle. Like it's gross. It's just awful. It makes me feel icky. It's nothing I can control. I was like drenched. And I've been having to wear bandana like every time I'm outside, basically. And because like I just sweat like crazy. It's really unfortunate. And so we'll see. I think I'm just not going to try medication for ADHD anymore. Because it's having the opposite effect of what it should have. Should make me feel, more focused. Instead, it's making me either depressed or less focused. Oh, you haven't been feeling well? I'm just sorry that you haven't been feeling well. What kind of not feeling well? But let's see. I feel like I don't have like a whole lot to talk about. I did talk a lot though, so that's good. I told you all the things, all my good updates. The geese, you guys, they're so fun. So they like totally follow me around. And I wish I would have started that earlier, like when I first got them. It's so much fun. Like you walk around, like I took them out with me watering one time, and I was just watering and they just follow me everywhere, and they like randomly start running around in circles, and it's so funny. And they hold out their wings and they look dumb, and it's great. I don't know. And they like spin out and slide, and they're just good fun. I just like my geese and ducks. I think I should have, when they were babies, I should have tried it, but I was worried they were going to run away. But with these guys, they're kind of big, and they were kind of big when we started. We're like, we can catch them. It'll be fine. We can catch them. Oh, sinus infection. It's never this cool and everything still growing. Oh, I know. It's like we're having opposite weathers. Like we're having Texas weather. You're having Western Oregon weather, rain. Oh, but golly, those geese are so much fun. Yesterday, Dan took them out while he filled the duck pools and everything. He's like, they're starting to get a little independent. They were 15 feet away from me for a really long time. And I was like, that's so funny and sad. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for them to be independent. Because I should have started the whole outside fun a long time ago with them. And now that I know, I can do it in the future with, animals. But it kind of makes me feel like they might be at least not mean. I don't know, though. Everything changes when they go through puberty. So hopefully they'll just, stay nice. Maybe they'll be pettable. I don't know. Only one of them, the one in the front center, if you saw my community post yesterday, the ham, he'll let me pet him. I think he's a boy. So originally we thought, because there's one that's kind of a runt, and we're like, well, maybe she's a girl, because the other two were growing at the similar rate. And we obviously we're still not sure. I watched some videos on how to vent sex them, and I don't know if I want to do that for sure, because they basically poop when you do it, and I don't know if I'm into that. And you got to hold them all like upside down and stuff. And I don't know. I could probably do it. It would probably be okay, but it's relatively straightforward. The videos I watched anyway, but they'll hate me. Should make Dan hold them and then I'll inspect. But so I still think there's a possibility that we may have 2 girls and 1 boy. If that's the case, that's great. That'll be great. You know, like that would just be a great situation, because then, you know, the boy will be busy with those 2 girls and he won't have time to worry about the ducks and Donnie the Drake. And then maybe we'll have to get rid of the other geese. I don't know what we're going to do about that. Probably put them on Craigslist for free, because I'm sure not very many people want asshole geese. Well, only one. Only the boy is kind of a jerk. But when we got the white geese, we got 3 as well. And we thought we got 2 boys, or 2 girls and a boy. And it was the opposite. We got 2 boys and a girl. And so one of them died. I don't know what happened. He got scared of something and he ran into the fence and he broke his jaw. So we had to put him down. But yeah, I don't know. I think he was nicer. I don't remember. But in any case, I'm just hoping, crossing my fingers, that they're going to be friendly, or at least not mean, you know, not charging you with their necks out, wanting to bite you, because these guys, being 22 pounds when they grow up, they're going to have a bigger bite than the geese do now. And I've had the boy goose bite me right above my knee on my inner thigh, and it hurt pretty bad. And I had him bite me here before, and it left a bruise. And so I hope they're nice. And they're supposed to be loud, which is the reason why we want to continue with geese. And it's not because we love them being loud, because like it's kind of annoying, but I really think that their noise deters predators. I mean, obviously I have no like proof of it, but I don't have not proof of it. And so I thought, you know, we don't want to like, because we kind of want to get rid of the white geese. Bye. I'm going to get off here in a couple minutes too. Have a good weekend, Patty. What was I saying? Oh, we wanted to get rid of the white geese because, you know, they were being mean to Donnie the Drake, and then they're mean in general. But then we're like, oh, well, we don't really want to change the whole situation, because what if their noise actually does deter predators and is one of the reasons why we don't lose our chickens and stuff to predators? Don't know. Don't want to risk the variable changing. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully. Oh, you know what else? So my farrier came the other weekend because Sassy had a thing going on with her hoof. And oh my goodness. My farrier brought her dog, and it was a tiny dog. And it was a great dog. Her name was Happy. She was so sweet. But Happy came running into the donkey paddock, and Stuart was having none of it. He almost stomped her. And I was like, because I told the farrier, I was like, I don't think he's very good. You know, I don't think they're very good with dogs. I never have tested the theory, because I know that sometimes donkeys just don't like smaller animals, and it's not worth the risk to me. So I was like, I would prefer it if she didn't come in the paddock. And so she did really good for a long time. But then, like, she was like, I miss my mom. And she came out running. And Stuart was not about it. He reared up and was totally going to stomp her. So that answers the question of whether or not he's dog friendly. And the answer is no. And Why doesn't he do that to coyotes? Because they just watch them walk by. I don't mind the coyotes. We've never really had a problem, but I'm just like surprised that he would get all worried about this tiny dog and just watch coyotes walk by. I don't know. Maybe he was like, it's a rat. I don't know. Well, I have hit the hour mark. I see there's 4 people left in here. If you have any questions, throw them up now, or else I'm going to head out. We hopefully will be finishing the raised bed. I wanted to finish it, like work on it this week, but it's like every day I had something to do, and the way my medicine is being, it's like I have energy to do like one thing, and then I'm like done for the day. I don't know. It kind of stinks. It's annoying. Sorry. But yeah. That's about it. All right then. Well, I thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me here on Farmstead Smith, and I'll see you next time.